LDBC. This is your boy Coach Shelton Harrison. You're live on Coach Shelton Harrison Boxing and MMA Show Live. Okay, folks, if you're uncomfortable with the topic of race and prejudice, you probably need to go ahead and cut the video off, okay? If you see one of your favorite fighters on this screen that you really love and you're really a fan of, you may want to cut the video off because I'm going to talk about some of these fighters, or all of them, in a little bit of detail. If you're going to get emotional and cry and have a temper tantrum and a rant and all this stuff and get disrespectful, that's fine. I'll just delete the comments and you can kind of have a temper tantrum by yourself, okay? So, guys, this is no secret, okay? We've heard, everybody got the memo that Cris Cyborg tested positive for using a diuretic, okay? Um, and I have to say that, a lot of people are all up in arms and, for what? For what? A water pill? A water pill. Everybody's getting their panties in a wad over a water pill. And I have to say that the majority of the people in the comment section, I can say many of you, you haven't, you don't know how to fight. You don't have any fight experience. You've never been in a fight. There's probably a couple of guys that I can probably tell that's been in a fight, like Top Cat. I know he's fought before, but just some of the details in which he describes a lot of techniques. Okay, see, I've been around strength and conditioning for over 20 years. Okay, I've been around and I know exactly what I'm talking about. That's why I kind of shake my head and laugh at a lot of you guys because y'all are trying to like educate me on stuff that I've been a student of my whole career. Okay, I want y'all to look at something right here. Okay, in 2011, this is Cris Cyborg, and clearly you can see that Cris Cyborg on some darn steroids, man. Chris is on some steroids, and I'm trying to tell y'all right now, man, it was sick how ripped she was. And even back in '09, I would always tell some of my friends we watch her fight, and I'm like, yo, homegirl on some serious steroids. This girl is juicing bad, and I used to always say that. And then come to find out she got popped. So yeah, she got popped in 2011 for using what Stanzalo. Yeah, and that's one of those performance enhancing drugs that actually it starts to it prohibits muscle growth or inhibits. My fault. It inhibits muscle growth, and it actually when you go work out, it allows a lot more blood flow to go into the muscle tissue, and you can actually get more muscle mass. Man, it's crazy, and it give you a sick amount of stamina to go in there and just do massive amounts of sets. But see, back then that particular PED it was hard to detect. But of course, the systems they get better and better, and they start detecting some of the stuff that's undetectable. And trust me, in 2017, there are going to be a lot of fighters getting popped. Trust me, okay? A lot of them are going to get popped. But it seems like the news media, the only person they want to talk about on steroids is Cris Cyborg and John Jones. I find that odd. When you go type in doping MMA, the only people that come up is Cris Cyborg and John Jones, like the first people. Then you have to kind of scroll down to the end of the page, and then eventually you'll start seeing other folks, but they're scattered. You got to physically search for those other folks, okay? I mean, you got to. And that's just the way that is. That's just the way that is, okay? All right, so while the hoopla, let's really talk about the diuretic. Cris Cyborg got popped this year for using a diuretic. Now, look in 2016. You can tell that visibly Cris Cyborg definitely is not even as defined as she was in 2011. She ain't nowhere near that definition. Nowhere near it. And I would have to take a hunch that she probably not doping on a muscle enhancer. I don't get up in arms when fighters get popped for diuretics. I know what they're doing because I've been around for 20 years. I know what they're doing. The majority of them are trying to make weight. Because see what happens, a lot of these guys and these girls, they lose so much weight that they're almost between 1 to 3% body fat, which that's not good. You're supposed to, like, if you can get to the 8 to 10% range in body fat, you're doing good. I know this because I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been helping people lose weight for over 20 years. I've been in athletics. I've been in strength and conditioning training for 20 years. This I know, okay? But when you get down to 1%, that's dangerous. That's very dangerous because if you go without food for a while, your body will begin to start eating away at the muscle tissue that you already have amassed. Your body will do that, okay? But I'm just saying, I don't want to digress. But in Cyborg's case, she actually needed it to help lower her blood pressure because her blood was thick. See, what happens is when you're dehydrated, they take you, you go to the doctor, they pump you full of fluids. That's what they do. They give you an IV drip, and they let it just roll in you for a long time to help the blood to coagulate a little bit better, okay? The blood thickness and the blood density is still there, okay? So they give you diuretics to actually flush out some of that extra fluid to get the blood density back down, okay? So it's got a positive and a negative effect to it, okay? Because if you're dehydrated, they're not just going to give you a damn diuretic and say, here, before they pump you with fluids. But, trying to explain that to people, it's just, so, okay, I don't want to digress. But anyway, that's what happened in her case. And I'd be willing to bet, too. Now, this is something I don't know, but I'd be willing to bet that Cris Cyborg, I know she had to have using a diuretic, okay, throughout the training camp of Lena Landsberg. There's no way possible she could have made that weight without the use of diuretics, okay? Because they had done everything that they could to get that weight off. And old girl was still coming in 2 pounds heavy than 140. She was still coming in heavy. They did everything they could. This girl went days without eating or drinking anything. I'm talking about she went days without eating or drinking. And then, she ended up sweating off extra weight, sweating off water. And I know she had to use a diuretic to get that water out of the muscle tissue. You ain't got to tell me. I know what these fighters do. I know how hard it is to make weight. I know what these guys and girls do. They do it to make weight. The majority of the people who get popped for diuretics, they're using it to make weight. And I want y'all to look at some of the people on this diagram. I can't put everybody up here. It's too many people to put up here. But it just seems like when you type in doping and MMA, the only people that they want to talk about is Cris Cyborg and John Jones. That's it. And you know what really pissed me off? There are a lot of different websites and a lot of different YouTube channels that's saying, oh, this is a Brazilian thing. Like, it's a complete prejudice toward the Brazilians in mixed martial arts. I mean, that drives me crazy. Because, so y'all act like the only people that dope are Brazilians? Are you serious? There's so many more different races of people that dope in mixed martial arts than Brazilians. You got to be kidding me. But see, the people that dope, they don't want to talk about them. See, don't nobody want to talk about them. But the coach will. Oh, the coach will. Let's start out. Okay, you see Ashley Evans Smith. Well, let me show you all the Brazilians, okay? Here's Karina Dam. She's a Brazilian. She got popped. Gabby Garcia, no, she ain't got popped yet. She ain't got popped yet, but I tell you what, if you can't tell that this girl is using steroids, there's something wrong with you, okay? I've been around too long to know, and I know for a fact this girl is using some type of HGH. It's got to be HGH, and probably she's using some creatine to go with it. But I definitely know she's on the HGH hormone therapy. She got to be, man. There's no way you can get that rip. And she done lost weight, but still, man, I mean, her hands, I mean, just everything about this girl is manly, okay? That's just the way that is. All right, and then you have, I said Karina Dam. You got, a couple others I didn't mention. You got Anderson Silva, he Brazilian, and Royce Gracie. Don't think I forgot about you. Back in 2007, you got popped. See, don't think of it. And Royce, still to this day, says he did not cheat. Royce, get off of it. You got popped. Okay? But not every damn Brazilian is taking performance-enhancing drugs. And you know why they saying that crap, too? Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to prepare in case Ronda Rousey get her ass whooped by Amanda Nunes. See, they're trying to get that narrative already floating. I'm trying to tell y'all, this is what's going on. See, Cris Cyborg don't fit the prototypical stereotype champion that they want. You know, the UFC, they love the young blonde. And it may not even be a racial thing. Maybe it's a money thing. I don't know. But it seems like that they think that that young blonde will sell. That's what they think. The young blonde girl will sell, and people will come see the young blonde. And they don't know how to market Cyborg. They just don't. Anybody, man, anybody with some common sense know. If this the person that's wrecking everybody, you know she marketable. The unstoppable force. I mean, come on, folks. Come on. It's not that hard. Not that hard to figure out. But see, Ashley Evans Smith right here, she got popped. She got popped back in 2015. They gave her a 9-month suspension. Now, let me tell you something. When I type in MMA doping, Ashley Evans does not pop up immediately. You got to look for Ashley Evans Smith. How y'all going to explain this? How? How you going to explain this? Because they're not going to talk about Ashley Evans. Ain't nobody going to say nothing about that. She got popped using a diuretic. How y'all going to explain this? Now, she served 9 months. She served her suspension. Okay? But the thing of it is, who's talking about it? Honestly. I mean, it's not going to pop up. You got to actually type in Ashley Evans Smith and doping. But if you just type up doping, her name ain't the first name that pop up. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, but Cyborg. I know, here go y'all. Cyborg is more popular than Ashley. That's why it's going to come up. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and refute this narrative. Now, y'all see the people that are in the red boxes right here. Okay. That's Holly Holm, Jessica Aguilar, and Julia Budd. Now, let me tell y'all something. Holly Holm, now let me go ahead and put this down for the record. None of the people that I've circled in red or boxed in red, they have not tested positive for any performance-enhancing drug. And the coach means any. They have not tested positive for anything, okay? But I'm just going to throw something in y'all mind, and I just want y'all to see where I'm going with this, okay? So Holly Holm signs an endorsement deal with Intel. I think that's the name, Intel. But they make supplements. And many of the supplements they make are on the UFC ban list. But she signed an endorsement deal with them? Y'all, that sounds kind of funny to me. It sounds very strange. Now, could she be using the products? I'm sure they give her a lot of products. If you sign an endorsement deal, just like when if you sign a deal with Nike, athletes, they get all kind of Nike gear. You get all kind of supplements. Anything that's endorsed by Nike, anything that Nike uses, they give to you. Any kind of supplement company that you're endorsed by, they give you free samples of their product. Does Holly take those samples? I don't know. Y'all tell me. But it sounds kind of strange. Now, I'm not saying she doping because I came over here and said, from the looks of her body, it doesn't appear that she is. Okay? So I'll just say that. But I will say on the flip side, and I'm going to go back on this, why is she endorsed by a company that uses supplements that's banned on the UFC list? How are you going to explain this? Maybe she just did it for the money, but I don't know. I would think Holly Holm wouldn't be that stupid. But, I mean, don't nobody really question it. Nobody thinks about it because Holly has the good girl image, okay? I'm just saying. Now, you let it be somebody else, okay? You let it be a Brazilian fighter. Any of them. They're going to automatically assume they doping. But didn't nobody say Holly was doping? Nobody. They just said, well, she's just making money. Let that be a Brazilian fighter. Oh, they're going to be doping. Look at Jessica Aguilar. You know, look at her. I'm sorry, y'all. I know I might have some Jessica Aguilar fans. This girl doping. She ain't got popped yet, but she will eventually. Julia Budd, hot diggity dog. Now, I'm sorry. It's almost no way you can get that kind of muscle definition, man, without the help of something. Julia Budd has always been on my radar. But ain't nobody going to really talk about that. Ain't nobody going to really talk about that, okay? It's just not going to happen. See, they want to put fighters like John Jones and Cris Cyborg out there in the main meet. See, them. They're going to always be the one getting overly criticized for everything they do. It just is. That's how it is because they don't fit the prototype. They don't fit the prototype. The UFC, they don't want them as champions. No, they don't want to do that. No. But you let Paige Van Zandt get popped. You let Ronda Rousey happen to get popped. Ah, man, they'll do everything they can to try to deflect it. They'll try to make it go away. But noticeably, John Jones get popped. And then here go the thing with John Jones. He get popped. And Brock Lesnar, they get popped in the same time frame. But Brock Lesnar get a payday and John Jones don't get a payday. How you going to explain this? I mean, I got to hear this. How y'all going to explain Brock Lesnar? What about Chad Mendez? What about him? They don't really talk about that much. I know that's been a couple of years ago, but I know. See, it's been people. Anderson Silva been popped a long time ago. And they still talking about Anderson Silva. They still talking about him. I'm telling you, it's this bias or racial thing towards Brazilians. I'm trying to tell you. Josh Barnett. This dude done popped 3 times. He got popped twice in the same year within months of each other. How y'all going to explain that? Nobody want to talk about that. But when John Jones get on TV, they always want to bring up his past. But don't nobody, they do a whole special on Josh Barnett. And they ain't bringing up his past of those doping incidences. They ain't bringing that up. And what about good old Motormouth Chael Sonnen? What about Motormouth Chael? All the junk he talk, you would think they want to talk about that on a regular basis. But they don't. How you going to explain that? God dog, y'all. I know this video ain't going to be good for a lot of y'all. I know y'all not going to like the video, and I don't care. The coach just absolutely don't care. And look at Frank Shamrock. Frank Shamrock and Kibon Slice get popped on the same day, I think. They were fighting each other. They got popped. They got popped. But, of course, they talk about how bad Kimbo was. And then they tried to put Frank Shamrock back. They tried to They tried to suppress Frank Shamrock doping. But then they tried to say Kimbo was just a bad guy. And I ultimately think that Kimbo getting popped led to his death, because I just think his heart wasn't strong enough for the steroids. That's just my opinion, okay? That's just my own opinion. But the way they treated Kimbo and the way they treated Shamrock was totally different. Oh, they put it out there. Called Kimbo all kind of names and everything. Frank Shamrock, they just said, oh, he got popped for doping. God. And Tim Means. What about Tim Means? He just got through fighting. This dude done been popped. Don't nobody want to talk about that. See, it's amazing. It is amazing, man, that they always want to just keep asking John Jones about doping. They always want to keep talking to Cyborg about her past, but they don't want to talk about Tim Means' past. They don't want to talk to Chael Sonnen about his past. They don't want to talk to Ashley Evans Smith about her past. And you can say, well, Ashley ain't popular. Yes, she is, because she the first person to knock out that tranny Fallon Fox. Ashley Evans Smith is popular. So don't say this is a popularity thing to me. Don't tell me that. But I know this video ain't going to fly well, and that's okay, because I didn't make this video to be popular. I made this video to start speaking out about some of this BS. And a lot of these channels, they have a bias towards Brazilians. Folks, that's just how it is. This is your boy, Coach Shelton Harrison. I'm done.